plate. And in that moment when you get them, they're really it's like a really strong feeling.
Awesome.
Yeah, that you have to put it out there.
Awesome.
Yeah. Let me tell you a short story. The other day, I was finishing up this painting. It was late at night, and then my nanny was in the kitchen. And I told her, hey, Monica, I've finished this painting. Now let me explain it to you. So, and I was explaining it to her. I could see the confusion in her face. And she was like, wow, to each really their own, because I would never have guessed this is what the painting meant. This is what it interpreted. And that you're doing it this late at night. I was like, yes, I really had it in me to finish it at this hour of the night. And so, yes, we're not regular. Let me see. We're not regular.
It's not going to be regular, isn't it?
Because
your creation is in the mind. And if you're going to create something that is specifically different from the other, it just can't be termed as regular, isn't it? Yes. Good. So now, for the sake of the audience now, which has got a lot of personal questions, I'm going to keep on asking them.
Right.
When you identify as a fine artist, what does that mean to any other person trying to understand art?
Okay, so a fine artist really is the person who puts out their work in the form of drawings or paintings. Essentially, that's fine art. And then you have your sculptors, you have your let me say musicians, people in that kind of space. That also is fine art. But then art is in a much broader sense, really extensive, really extensive. Architects can be considered artists. Engineers can be considered artists. But then what they do, that for them is not fine art. Fine art really is much more in a sense of something that you can observe visually and you can consume audibly.
Does it?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Right.
All right. Another question that we kept on getting is that we want to talk about exactly where we are in this country as art and the specific industry as well.
Right.
Can't somebody learn art? Could I decide today? Already, I know you're in the industry and say, wow.
Right.
Give me a pencil. I want to start drawing. Give me some paints, guys. Just teach me how to do these things. I want to start.
Yes.
Is it something that you can learn, or there has to be?
Talent.
Is it talent? Or people also describe talent differently. That you can learn talent. Is it talent? Is it inborn, or you just have to? You can learn it.
I love that question.
Yeah.
For the record, I like to think that I was born an artist, that it's talent.
Every artist always has that thing. I'm saying, if you're going to be good, that has to be somewhere. Is that, no, you're not the one who thinks like that. For you to be actually in this place where you're seeing things in an abstract sense, that you're attaching meanings to the things that you're saying, that is called be deep. That's not something that I'm going to sit and learn.
Right. But to answer the question,
all right,
art is a very teachable skill. Anyone can learn art. I know people who started off with stick figures, and their art right now is on a level that me, born naturally, I can't say I've gotten there yet. So it is a very teachable skill, just like any other skill, really. If you put your mind to something, I believe you can achieve it, and you can be the best at it. So yes, it is teachable. It takes practice, takes patience, but eventually, with a determined heart, you'll get there. Yes.
But there's an art that we're seeing a lot of people now have been exposed to, and I would say it's a bit easier to understand.
Right.
Pencil art. It's relatable.
Right.
Could you tell me why? But we want to talk about your painting shortly as well.
Right.
But could you tell me why it's easier for majority of audiences to relate to pencil art, but when it comes to now the painting we're using just paint and strokes and brushes, it gets a bit harder for someone to understand exactly what the artists were trying to communicate.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd compare this to a child, and it's easy, like a newborn baby. It's easy for them to digest milk. Easy. It's in the let me see, it's in the genes
to absorb
they understand milk. But as they grow, they are introduced to hard food slowly until you're grown up and you can chew steak at a party. Right. So pencil art is much more relatable because it's easy. It's easier to understand. It's it's really simple. It's the milk for the average person, let me see.
That's
let me put it that
pencil
way.
art, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pencil art. Whether it's a portrait, a landscape, cityscape, whatever it is, pencil art is easy to interpret. Abstract art, on the other sense, is much more representational. I have to explain to you what I meant in this drawing for you to see it as I see it, because you could be getting very, very, very different understanding from the same thing. But if I did a portrait of you in pencil, or I drew these flowers in pencil, doesn't take a genius to understand, oh yeah, she was drawing. Yeah, Mr. Simba, she was drawing flowers. Such stuff.
Pretty much. Now, here's where it gets interesting.
Right.
I'm going to carry this painting that we have right here.
Okay.
And we have 3 minutes to go on break, and I'm going to come back as we talk about it.
Right.
So the interpretation is where the art then begins.
Yes.
I'm going to carry it, and you can tell me whether I'm carrying it. Is it?
It's upside down.
It's upside down.
Yes.
Wow, I couldn't even know. Guys, this one is upside down. So gotta have it like this.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
Already, it is an abstract painting.
It is an abstract painting.
If you give me 1,000,000 hours, I don't know how many years those are, to explain to you what this is,
right?
I will never start. I will never clear.
Uh-huh.
Could you kindly dig into your mind when you're creating this and tell us exactly what it is that you were trying to come up with here?
Okay. I would want to see how you'd interpret it first, to see how close or far you are to the...
Let me turn it.
Just take a quick second.
Wow, I see a lot of red and blue and black and plants and... You know what? Just for this is knowledge from 2 interviews. You're the second one. And I'm trying to dig into the mind of artists and see how they look. Now that I've known you're trying to create the world better. That there's a lot of blood that probably people have lost. Right?
Right.
And out of the blood that humanity has lost, probably out of wars, out of diseases, out of all that, there's still something good that come out of it. That's why I'm seeing water, blue representation of water. I'm saying that even they go with, here's it, the flowers.
Yes.
So I'm seeing different colors up here.
Right.
That representation of something that can come good out of all the blood that we've lost. But then the blue represents we gotta wash all these things and try and change humanity. You know, that I will start from there, because then I've kind of known your story a little bit. Like, how do you interpret art? You're trying to use art to make the world better.
Yes.
And this probably is what made communicate what you're trying to do. You see, the good thing about talking to the artist.
Right.
Don't give me marks. I'll mark it myself after you give me what interpretation this is.
Right.
All right. So here we go.
I love it. You're not so far from what I was going for.
Yes, guys, I told you I'm becoming a guru at this. Anyway.
Right. But the title of this painting is called The Road Less Taken. So the red that you see is a wide road, and the red represents the passions and the things that we love as people. And so, as you can see, the road is paved with colors of gold, silver, and bronze. And these things that we really, really, really are passionate about, you know, they have these promising things along with them. But then the thing is, with this wide road that many of us travel, on the flip side is darkness, confusion, and things that we might not necessarily know that lie on the other side. But we are encouraged to take the road less taken. And as you can see, it's paved with the color black, which means that it's not going to be easy to be walking that narrow path, which is represented by the color blue. And then, as you can see, on the flip side of this narrow path is the colorful side. So if we could just persevere this really taken road, on the other side is all these beautiful, colorful things that we also cannot necessarily understand. But if we persevere, the promise lies on the other side. And so the purple dots that you see on the red path and a few on the blue path they represent people because we are royalties in God's eye. That's the color purple. And you can see that there's many of the people on the wide road and very few on the narrow road. So there you have it. That's the interpretation of the painting. So take the road less taken.
So take the road less taken. That's the message right there. Guys, we're just starting. Take a tiny breather right here on the Morning Drift. Once we come back then, deeper into her art, trying to understand exactly how she communicates through her paint and brushes, and talk to her about where we are as an industry